Okay, you will get the whole PDF, don't worry, just try to understand the concepts, and because this is very, very important. Okay, so in the last class we talked about our Krebs cycle, and in the Krebs cycle I talked about the calculations of ATP is very, 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 very important. Okay, that is something that I talked about in my last class. And few important portions I again want to repeat today from Krebs cycle as well, because Krebs cycle and electron transporting chain are interlinked. Okay, how? Because like follow my board. Suppose this is the this is Krebs cycle. Okay, in the Krebs cycle there is generations of reducing equivalent. Okay, and one is NADH2, another is FADH2. Now the question is, one is NADH2, another one is FADH2. Now I think in the Krebs cycles how many NADH2 are generated directly? The answer is 3. How many FADH2s are generated directly? The answer is 1. Okay, in one cycle, I mean in one turn, this is generated in one turn. But there is 2 turn of cycle, Krebs cycle, because the Krebs cycle starts with something which needs 2 turn, which it starts with acetyl CoA, and your glucose molecule is converted into 2 molecules of acetyl CoA, 2 molecules of pyruvic acid at the end of the glycolysis, and then yeah, definitely 2 molecules of pyruvic acid in the glycolysis, and then 2 molecules of acetyl CoA in link reactions that I have already discussed. That's why you have to remember that this is not a 1 turn, this is a 2 turn of reactions. So if anyone is asking you what is total number of reducing equivalent, okay, then it should be 6 NADH2 and 2 FADH2. Okay, and some people during the calculation, even in some MCQ, I found the link reaction, they are considering the link reaction, I mean oxidative decarboxylations of pyruvic acid. In my last class I have already explained why it is oxidative decarboxylation of pyruvic acid. So in few MCQs you will find that link reaction is even considered as a part of Krebs cycle. It should not be, but in few MCQs you will find that. So be careful about that and read all the options, then you will get that whether the paper setter has included the link reactions as a part of Krebs cycles or not. Okay, if I include the link reactions in my calculations of Krebs cycle, you will get again plus 2 NADH2. I think you can remember from my last class lecture. Okay, so you can again include this NADH2. So if I include this 2 plus NADH2, so and if I ask you from pyruvic acid how many number of NADH2s are generated from pyruvic acid till Krebs cycles, then you have to tell that this is, you have to again calculate this 2 again. So there the calculation will be 2 and this is 6, 3 into 2. So then the reactions will be like a total now count of the NADH2 will be 8. In the last class I have already explained. Those who are new here, don't worry, you will get that if you watch my last class video. Okay. Okay, the next thing is now you might be surprised at why you are discussing this today, because you have to remember this NADH2 and these FADH2s are basically the raw material. These are the raw material for what? Please tell me. These are raw material for, tell me, of today's topic.
ETC.
That is ETC, that is electron transporting chain. If you are unable to generate NADH2 and FADH2, there is no value of there is no value of your electron transporting chain. So definitely you should have a very very good production of NADH2 and FADH2. Okay, all right. And can you tell me what we actually do in the, what is the gross reaction of electron transporting chain? What is the gross reaction? Grossly, what we will produce in electron transporting chain? We will use NADH2. Okay, we will use NADH2. The in different electron carrier, electrons from this NADH2, they will pass in this way. Okay, when this electron will pass in this way, I mean from different complex of like there are 4 complex. I'm telling right now there are 4 complexes in electron transporting chain. Write it down. There are 4 complexes. First, write it down. This is very important fundamental things I am telling right now, and this is a actually these are MCQ what I am telling right now. So there are 4 complexes. I mean 4 type of electron transport. I will explain. Don't worry. But for the basic knowledge, for the foundations of electron transporting chain, you have to remember there are complex 1, complex 2, complex 3, and complex 4. So 4 complexes are there. Okay, with the help of this 4 complex, which flow, what particular thing flows, that is electron. So electron flows from this to this and this to this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. In such a way, the electron flows. Anyways. You have to remember that electron finally will be accepted by someone, and that is another MCQ. Can you tell me who is that? This is oxygen.
Oxygen.
So you have to remember, that's why some people also consider oxygen as complex 5, but this is not a authentic informations. You should not calculate, you should not consider oxygen as complex 5. Rather, you consider oxygen is terminal electron acceptor. Write it down. Every single words that I am writing here is MCQ. So terminal electron acceptor. Okay, so oxygen is terminal electron acceptor, and this is MCQ. Okay, okay. The next set of MCQ is that how many complexes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Next question is, does this complex are mobile complex or immobile complex? The answer is that they are fixed complex. You cannot make them, you cannot move them. They are not mobile. But there are few complexes who are mobile, and that is another MCQ. So mobile complex means, I mean mobile carrier, better to say not carrier, mobile carrier. So what is mobile carrier? Mobile carrier is something which who can move, that is called mobile carrier. Okay, I will explain who is mobile carrier. Don't worry about that. I will explain in details. You have to remember there is one is C means that is called cytochrome C. Okay, so you have to remember the cytochrome C is someone who is mobile carrier, number 1, and also coenzyme Q. Okay, or Q, simply ubiquinone, or you can consider like Q. This Q is ubiquinone or Q. Okay, so this Q is again like your mobile carrier. So only 2 mobile carrier is there in electron transporting chain. Okay, so still till now the MCQs that I have discussed. Well, what is the terminal electron acceptor? That is electron oxygen, obviously. How many complexes are there, sir? 1, 2, 3, 4. What actually flows through this 1, 2, 3, 4 complexes? Because 1, 2, 3, 4 are nothing but they are this complex 1, 2, 3, 4 nothing but electron carrier. So all these 1, 2, 3, 4 they are electron carrier. So definitely they will carry your electron. So they are actually carrying electron. And from your basic concept, when electron flows from one compound to another compound, then another compound, then another compound, you know these things. The compound which leaves electron, it is oxidized, and the compound which gains electron, they are reduced. I think you know this. And by this method, we actually generate a potential that is called redox potential. So I think you will be agree to me that, sir, here is a potential energy is also generated when the electron flows from one point to another point, and that is nothing but redox potential. Okay, and this system will be used in electron transport chain as well. Now the question is that, sir, then tell us the next basic concept. The next basic concept is that not only the NADH2 but also FADH2 can also play a major role in such transferring of electron from this through these complexes 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyways, so still now the questions which are from your directly from your NCERT, I will mark NCERT. Don't worry, just right now follow the basic concept again and again. I am telling. I will. Okay, so fixed complex 1, 2, 3, 4, mobile complex cytochrome C and that is Q, and your who is the terminal acceptor is oxygen, and and what are the reducing equivalent which is available? The NADH2 and FADH2, only 2. Okay, one more thing I want to introduce here. Please, listen to me carefully. Don't mark it as NADPH2. They are different. This is not NADPH2. Okay, this is not NADPH2. You will get NADPH2 in photosynthesis. You will get that in photosynthesis, not here. You will get that in photosynthesis, not here, because photosynthesis, you are directly utilizing the source of universal energy, that is sun. So definitely you will get such a compound where you will have an extra amount of energy in form of phosphate. But in respirations, you will only get NADH2, not NADP. So P, you will get P means extra energy. Extra energy means you need photons from directly sunlight, and definitely that's why you can get that in only in photosynthesis, in such a process when sunlight is used. But here no sunlight is used, so definitely here please remember this is not NADPH2, rather it is NADH2. Don't get confused. In your option both will be given NADP, NADH2. Don't jump directly to mark NADP, rather wait for time and look at the options and mark NADH2. Okay, so the next thing that is very important for MCQ purpose of point, MCQ purpose of view, and this is NADH2 and FADH2. Okay, now these are the like raw material I have already mentioned at the beginning or introductions of this class. And can you tell me this raw material is generated from where? These raw materials are mainly generated in Krebs cycles. But can you deny that one raw material, I mean one NADH2 molecule is also generated in glycolysis? Can you deny this? Who can deny that one molecule of NADH2, not one, actually two molecule of NADH2 is generated even in glycolysis? That I have already told in my last class, that you have to remember in glycolysis also you are generating two molecule of NADH2 in presence of an enzyme, that is dehydrogenase enzyme. I think you are able to remember there was something called dehydrogenase enzyme, phosphoglycerol dehydrogenase enzyme. In that dehydrogenase enzyme you are generating actually two molecule of NADH2. So I have to also write it down that yes, my glycolysis can also generate at least they can also generate two molecule of NADH2, but remaining NADH2s are definitely generated by the Krebs cycle. Now my last closing line of this, can you tell me the exact number of NADH2 which is generated in Krebs cycles and the exact number of NADH2 which is generated in glycolysis? Who can tell me? Okay, one by one, let me ask the question to someone, and I think I should ask this question someone who has attended my last class. Okay, last class, Shahnaz, you was present in the last class, I can still remember. So please try to answer this question. If you are wrong, don't worry. I just want that whether you are retaining. Okay, just tell me what was there. Okay, can you tell me how many glycolysis was how many NADH2 were produced in glycolysis? How many NADH2 were produced in the glycolysis? Please tell me. Anyone who can tell me. If anyone want to volunteer. Yeah, absolutely. This is true. Absolutely. This is two. This is two. I am considering I am using glucose. Considering I am using glucose as my respiratory substrate, definitely there will be two times. Yeah, you know, the second phase of the glycolysis. I mean the payoff phase, which is actually when you have already getting DHAP, DHAP, and PGALD, then definitely DHAP is 3 carbon, PGALD is 3 carbon. So any set of reaction below the level of productions of DHAP, that will go for 2 turn, not 1 turn. So that's why you have to multiply 2 anywhere. Okay, so this is 2 NADH2, not 1 NADH2, though I know it is generated in only one step of glycolysis, but it is 2 because there will be 2 turn of glycolysis in the second phase of glycolysis. Okay, and Krebs cycle, can you tell me how much NADH2 we will generate?
Six.
Yeah, actually 6. Yes, this is actually 6. And can you tell me, I have also skipped one important reaction where also I am generating NADH2, that is something called link reaction. In link reaction also I have generated LR. I am writing LR. I have also generated 2. So can you tell me how many NADH2 actually we are generating in whole process of respiration? The answer is 2 plus 2 plus 6. I mean, this is 10. Okay, 10.
10.
Okay,
10.
yeah, absolutely correct answer. We are generating 10. We are generating 10 molecule of NADH2. And if you add FADH2, we are generating 2 molecule of FADH2. So 10 NADH2, 2 FADH2 will be the raw material of product of your ETC. So please keep it in mind that 10 NADH2, 10 NADH2 and 2 FADH2 is a raw material to start electron transporting chain. Okay, do you have any confusion regarding this? 10, how it is 10 NADH2 and how it is 2 FADH2? Do you have any confusion? Please tell me. This is a MCQ topic. Today's topic is very important topic.
2
Okay,
2 FADH2 ওটা একবার এক্সপেরিয়েন্স করুন।
Actually, in the last class, I have already drawn the whole Krebs cycle. And if you are able to remember, you can find we generated something okay, I'm telling you again. Okay, don't worry. I'm just showing you again the Krebs cycles. I am telling you, don't worry. Okay, so this is 2 NADH2 and 10 NADH2 and 2 FADH2. You have to remember this thing. Okay, let me finish actually this board work first. Let me finish. Okay, and can you tell me that okay, one more thing that you have to understand, the basic thing of electron transporting chain that you have to understand. Okay, let me erase this. When you are actually transporting this electron from like complex 1 to complex 2, from complex 3 and complex 4, please remember this, that when actually the electron is flowing in this way, you have to remember that proton, what is the scenario of proton? Okay, think in this way. Suppose you are generating NADH2 and FADH2 where? First you tell me. You are generating NADH2 and FADH2 where? Please tell me though. Where you are generating the NADH2 and FADH2? You tell me that.
So glycolysis and Krebs cycle.
Yeah, absolutely correct. I mean, you are generating in cytoplasm. That is simply only one molecule. Okay, I mean 2 molecule, better to say. But in the Krebs cycles, you are generating 10 molecule of NADH2. So my point is that when you are actually transferring, when you are actually donating electron from it, I mean NADH to FADH2, what else you are actually generating in matrix? Suppose you are donating electron from this NADH2 compound. What you are producing as a result of these donations of electron? Tell me. What else you are generating? Tell me. If you are able to understand this concept, then you will be answering another one question as well, and it's a very important question. Tell me now, what else you are generating? As you are donating electron into the electron carrier, it might be fixed, it might be mobile, forget about that, but
For H
simply tell
plus.
me. Yes, obviously, lot of protons we are generating in matrix. So in the matrix, please note, please look at the board first. Please look at the board first. Don't jump into taking notes, because this video will be available to you. This class notes will be available to you. Everything will be available to you. PDF will be available to you. So just note at, look at my board. First, try to understand what I'm telling. When I am actually donating electron to the respective A1, 2, 3, 4 carrier, what I am generating as a product? If you are donating electron from NADH2, what you are actually generating? You are losing electron from the hydrogen, so you are generating proton, and that's why there is a lot of proton concentration. Where? Please tell me now. Where? In matrix or in perimitochondrial space? Tell me though.
Matrix.
Matrix. In matrix. Why I am emphasizing this concept again and again? The exactly opposite concept will be applicable in the ATP productions in chloroplastid. There you will find just outside the matrix of the chloroplastid, there is a huge pool of a proton, but here you are generating huge pool of proton inside the matrix of mitochondria. Okay, So because that is very, very important. When I will teach you photosynthesis, I will teach that there the proton pool, the proton, huge concentration of proton is not inside the matrix, rather it is outside the matrix, but here it is inside the matrix. Now you tell me, when you are generating huge matrix, I mean huge concentrations of this proton here, you just tell me what would happen, what will happen. Definitely when the electron is flowing in this way, yes, at the same pattern you will find that the proton is also moving from matrix to PMS. What is PMS? Peri-mitochondrial
Mitochondria.
space. Yes. So at the same time you will find that electrons are also moving from inside to outside. So it is a coupled, so it's a coupled type of thing. Like when the electrons are moving in these directions, the remaining H plus are also moving with the respective 1, 2, 3, 4 channels. And what are the different now the question is one more questions, which is a previous year question as well. You have to remember this, that's why. So with the help of this one, how many protons will pass from inside to outside? With the help of 2, you have to remember no proton will be transferred. That is the MCQ actually. Every one among 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 will help in transfer of electron, 2 will help in electron transfer, 3, 4 will help in electron transfer, but not 2. This is something you have to remember, that 2 is something which will not help in transfer of proton from matrix to PMS, peri-mitochondrial space, but 1, 3 and 4 will help, not 2. That's why it is a MCQ. Okay. In your NCERT, even it is mentioned that complex 1 will transfer how much proton from matrix to here. How much by, can you tell me, by complex 1 how much
So
proton?
4.
Yes, absolutely correct. This is 4. With the help of complex 1, remember 4 protons will be transferred from matrix to PMS. Complex 2, I have already mentioned 0. Can you tell me with the help of complex 3 how much proton will be transferred from
The
matrix
4.
to the? Yes, it is again 4. Absolutely correct answer. And can you tell me how much amount of the proton will be transferred from mitochondrial matrix to the peri-mitochondrial space? Can you tell
2.
me? Absolutely correct answer. So remember this thing, that 4042. This is 4042. You have to remember that with the help of the complex 1, there is transfer of 4 proton. Complex 2, there are 0 proton. Complex 3, there are 4 proton. Complex 4, there are again 2 protons. Okay, that will be transferred and ultimately the H plus will be generated. Now you tell me though, now where the H plus are storing? Can you tell me where the H plus are actually getting stored right now? Can you tell me?
Peri-mitochondrial space.
Peri-mitochondrial space. Now you tell me a simple thing. When you are finding that they are actually stored in the peri-mitochondrial space. Suppose the thing is like that. Initially, outside was empty. When we are talking about the situation of complex 1, then you are starting to send proton outside and outside and outside. Okay, and on passing electrons, you are getting that protons are deposited in PMS. But even in the 4th complex, they are again deposited here. So in a single turn of electron flow, how many protons are actually going outside? The answer is 10. 4042. Answer is total 10 protons. If you make an entry of a NADH2, one NADH2, if flows from complex 1 to complex 2, complex 1 to complex 4, you can find that 10 protons is already going outside, like PMS. They are going into the PMS. So now what will happen in such process during this course of flow of NADH2? You can find course of flow of electron. You can find that protons are now again deposited outside. Okay, and what would happen as a result of that? What would happen in complex 5? The complex 5 is something which is known as ATPase. Okay, the complex 5 is something which is known as ATPase. This is complex 5. Let me draw actually in more beautiful way. Okay, okay, I think I should erase this one. Okay, yes, and then yes, just look at my board. All right, so this is, just look at my board. This and this. So you are finding when all the protons are now they are they are accumulated here. Now the turn is when they are coming to the complex 5. The complex 5 is ATPase. Okay, I'm very sorry. Just a few minutes ago, I told that complex 5 is oxygen. No, complex 5 is ATPase. Okay, in the complex 5, what would happen? That this is like your proton, and now the proton will be passed from PMS to matrix again. Clear, everyone? Clear, everyone? This is the game-changing procedure. So you have to remember, and that here proton motive force. What is proton motive force? That due to the accumulation of lot of protons, due to the accumulations of lot of protons, there is something called proton motive force, and the huge concentrations of the proton that will help the osmosis of the proton. This is a simple osmosis of the proton, not protein. Osmosis of the proton. Why? Osmosis, this is simple osmosis of proton. Okay, so protons are, you can also call diffusion as well. So protons are actually going from higher concentration to the lower concentration in this way. Okay, protons are going from higher concentration to the lower concentration in this way. Okay, clear, everyone? Clear, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes.
so the protons are moving from higher concentration to the lower concentration in this way. Okay, and in this time, and that's why it is called chemiosmotic theory. Why it is chemiosmotic theory? There is osmosis of proton, I know, but at the same time you are using a lot of chemical steps. That is the donations of the electron, flowing of the electron, flowing of the proton. Okay, so this theory is called chemiosmotic theory. Chemiosmotic theory. Okay, and you have to remember that, and you have to remember this is called chemiosmotic theory. Okay, now this chemiosmotic theory, the name of the scientist is Mitchell. These are old MCQ, but you can still remember that what is the importance of the Mitchell. Okay, so Mitchell is someone who gave that concept of chemiosmotic theory, which is very, 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 very important. And now I will tell you something which is a direct MCQ. The concept is that just follow this thing. What I am telling. Just imagine this thing. Have you ever okay, I think everyone has had some train journey na, in like a very crowded train journey. You had anyone?
Yes, sir. Yes,
If you
sir.
had train journey, then you can
Yes, sir.
only understand, otherwise not. If you had a train journey in a very crowded train, okay, what would happen? Suppose you are standing in a gate of the train, okay, and suppose the train is very much crowded. Everyone is just waiting when the next stoppage will come, and suddenly the next stoppage is just come. What would happen? Suppose this is not your destination, but you are still standing in front of the door. What would happen? What would happen? Exactly. The thing is exactly that. Even if you don't want to descend, okay, then also you will find that you have to go down, and you have to allow other passengers to go down. Okay. Otherwise, what will be the next thing? Suppose you are not moving down. Everyone will hit you. Simply, everyone will hit you. Okay. So what should you do? So here is the same thing. When the protons are accumulated
Sir, one
outside the
cannot
matrix,
stand in the train. One cannot stand in the train while he got down. One cannot stand.
yes. Okay, so the thing is that you have to understand that suppose this is a proton motive force. Suppose the protons are in the perimitochondrial space right now, and suppose the protons they are huge in number, and they just and they just want to pass through a complex, okay, like this type of complex. What would happen? That they will simply slap So they will simply slap this tennis racket. They will pass through this part. Just hold on. Yeah. Okay. They will simply pass through this part. Okay. They will simply pass through this part. Okay. And they will simply slap this tennis racket. And this tennis racket is something which is known as F1. Okay. Can you tell me the exact tunnel through which they are passing this tunnel? This tunnel is not F1. This tunnel is something called F0. Okay. So the tunnel is F0. So the electrons are introduced for the first time into this tennis racket with the help of something which is called tunnel of proton. Not electron, tunnel of proton. This is actually tunnel of proton, and this tunnel of proton is called F0. So this is called tunnel. So the tunnel is F0. And when through this tunnel, the protons are moving, okay, they will be continuously slapping the F1. And due to this slap, what would happen? That this racket will move like your fan. Suppose you have a fan like this. Even if you touch this fan in this way and there is no electricity, it will start rotating now. If you simply manually rotate the fan, you can do that, but the fan will rotate. In the same way, as there is a huge rush of flow of proton from outer space to the inner matrix, it will rotate. Okay, the F1 will rotate, and when the F1 will rotate, they will liberate some energy. They will give you some energy. There will be some exothermic process, and that energy will be trapped by someone that is called ADP, and that energy will be trapped by someone to add another phosphate with ADP. If you want to add another phosphate with ADP, what you will form? Please tell me. Suppose this is ADP you already have. Right now you have free phosphate ions in the matrix, but you want to make a bond with ADP. You know, to build this bond, you need a very high energy. If you want to build a bond between phosphate and ADP, you should provide a very high amount of energy, and that is almost 8 kilocalorie, 8.3 kilocalorie almost. Okay, the direct bond with ADP is almost 8.3 kilocalorie. Okay, so what I want to tell, that ADP will be now converted into ATP. And can you tell me what is the name of this complex 5 or this tennis racket? Who can tell me? This is a enzyme. Please
ATPase.
remember, not ASE. ASE means no, not ASE. This is wrong. I know. You know, in NCERT, what happens in NCERT? It's very unfortunate. In NCERT, in photosynthesis, they have written it as ATP ASE, but in respiration chapter, they have written it as ATP synthetase. Now you tell me, have you read the chapter muscle? There you will find in our muscle there is ATPase. In our muscle, ATPase will break down ATP into ADP and phosphate. But here is not the breaking process. Here is a making process. Here the ADP and phosphate, they are joined together to form ATP. So it should not be named as, so you should not name it as like your something is called, it should not be named as your ATP ASE. Rather, it should be named as ATP synthetase. So the enzyme name, please rewrite the enzyme name. It should be known as ATP synthetase. Okay, so just hold on. Okay, just hold on. This is ATP synthetase. Write it down. ATP synthetase. This whole machine of protein. This is actually machine of protein. That tennis racket is something which is made up of protein. Okay, this is actually, that's why it is considered as an enzyme. Okay, so this is called ATP. This enzyme is known as protein enzyme, obviously. ATP synthetase. ATP synthase or synthetase, whatever. Actually, there is a little bit difference, but still ATP synthase. Okay, there is ATP synthase. Okay, this is called ATP synthase. That is something you have to remember. All right. The next thing you have to consider that this is ATP synthase. So, but you, if anyone is asking you specifically of this ATP, which one is actually ATP synthase, F1 or F0? Tell me though.
F1.
Yes, only the F1. You have to remember this. This is F1 which is helping in ATP synthesis, not the F0. F0 is only giving the tunnel of proton transport. Okay, clear everyone? Everyone is pretty clear now. Just I will introduce the mobile carrier right now. What is the concept of mobile carrier and what is the concept of mobile carrier? I will introduce that right now. Otherwise, the basic things. And the most important part is that how the ATP is generated. How the ATP is generated. ATP is generated as during expressing PMF. When ATP synthase is expressing the PMF, proton motive force, then actually the ATP is generated. That's why it is called chemiosmotic theory. Okay, clear everyone? Do you have? If you have any doubt, like
Please
ask.
repeat once.
Which one?
Sir, why it is chemoosmotic?
Yeah, why it is chemoosmotic? It's a simple thing. Chemoosmotic. Okay, what you are finding here that the protons are moving from PMS, I mean perimitochondrial space to the matrix. Yes or no? At end, not
Yes.
initially. Initially, the protons are moving from this to this. Even at one time I found in NEET questions in electron transporting chain. What is directions of proton transport? One option, mitochondria to PMS. Second option, PMS to matrix. Third option, initially matrix to PMS, but finally PMS to matrix. And that is the correct answer. Initially it is
PMS to
matrix to
matrix.
PMS. Initially matrix to PMS. This is matrix na, this is mitochondrial matrix though.
Yes.
Okay, this is mitochondrial matrix though. Do you have any doubt? This is mitochondrial matrix.
No.
Okay, this is mitochondrial matrix. So initially it is your matrix to mitochondria. Initially it is matrix to mitochondria, but finally what you are getting, the direction is like this to this, I mean PMS to this. Okay, this is one question. And why it is chemiosmotic theory? Because this is the proton which is actually moving like this and this and this. So this is chemical reactions are going on. There is something is called donations of electrons. Okay, that's why it is again chemical reactions. But at the same time, you have to remember that osmosis of proton is also going on the fifth complex, and which is called ATPase is called fifth complex. Okay, now you can ask me the question, sir, where is the need of oxygen here? Where is the need of oxygen here? The need of oxygen is here. Look at the board, please. Suppose this is you tell me though, what is this? Proton now? Tell me now, what is this?
Protons.
Okay, this is proton. Okay, now the thing is that if this is proton, you tell me, okay, if this is proton, you tell me, if this is proton, if you have oxygen locally here, this proton and locally available oxygen here will combine together to form, tell me,
Water.
what you will get? Water. Okay, so I'm making it a little bit clear, otherwise it is becoming so untidy. I think I should make it clear. Okay, so right now, okay, just okay, this okay, so you tell me that this is the hydrogen which are coming outside.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, matrix এর ওই কালারটা স্যার আলাদা করে দিন, লাল আছে না, আসলে একই সঙ্গে গুলিয়ে যাচ্ছে এই বারবার।
matrix তো আমি এতে করলাম তো, ইয়েলো I have used to,
মানে ওই ভেতরেরটা, সরি, ক্রিস্টি এটা।
Christy I haven't drawn actually. Christy I haven't drawn actually till now. I have only this is the red one is actually Christy. You can consider the red one will form Christy somewhere. Christy is the organic, Christy is the anatomical structure. structure. We are talking about the functionality right now.
Yes.
Okay.
স্যার ওটাকে একটু অন্য
So-
কালার করে দিন।
Okay. So this is like your H plus, and this H plus, when it will be combined with your available oxygen, which is the terminal electron acceptor. So H plus plus electron plus oxygen, ultimately it will form water, and that's why oxygen is called terminal electron acceptor, even terminal a proton acceptor. Clear, everyone? If you have any doubt, please tell me. Till now, the way I have explained will help you to solve many basic concept of electron transport chain, and the same concept I will use in photosynthesis, but the directions of the flow of proton will be changed. Otherwise everything will be same there, and there is not 4 complex, there is 4 complex. Okay, so can I move forward? So right now I will tell you, I will do NCERT surgery, so just wait on. Yes, what is this is an older version of NCERT, but that's why I have added the newer changes of NCERT at the end. So just go and check that. Okay, you will get that in PDF, so go and check the last page of PDF, that will help you. Okay, just check this one. No need to read these informations right now, because I will explain everything here. Okay, so first thing, this is the complex one, which details, first you have to understand which surface it is and where it is situated. This is like this one, this is like this one, this is the inner side, this is like this one. Okay, this is the mitochondria, suppose. Okay, this is the inside, this is the outside surface. That's why this might, and can you tell me, this mitochondrial membrane is inner mitochondrial membrane or outermost? I mean, outside that there is another mitochondrial membrane, and that's why this is called perimitochondrial space. Okay, are you getting my point now? Please tell me if you are not
Yes,
getting.
sir.
I will
Yes, sir.
repeat again
Yes,
and again. I will repeat again and again if you are not understanding. Okay, this is your matrix. Okay, this is your matrix. Just hold on. Okay, here it is not. This is okay. So this is matrix. Okay, this inside structure is matrix. This is your matrix. This one is your matrix. Okay, now the thing is that in the matrix, you have produced a lot of NADH2, and that NADH2 will first lose their electron like this. Okay, that electron will be transported through flavin mononucleotide, then FES complex, iron sulfur complex, then they will reach someone which is called ubiquinone. When they will receive electron, they will be converted into ubiquinol, and they will be converted to ubiquinol, because ketone version will be converted into alcohol version after getting electron, because this is reduction. Anyways, the next thing you have to remember, and finally they will hand over their electron. They will hand over their electron to which complex? You tell me these things. Ubiquinone is taking electron from whom? First tell me, because this is something which will change your concept. You tell me, everything is before you, just you have to understand, you have to interpret the diagram. You tell me, ubiquinone is receiving
Complex one.
electron from whom? Complex 1, absolutely correct answer. And you tell me, ubiquinone is handing over electron to whom?
Three.
Complex
Complex
3.
three.
Now you see here, complex 2 is complex 2 is donating their electron to ubiquinone again, and that ubiquinone is again handing over their electron to complex 3. So what we are getting? And can you find, are you finding that ubiquinone are fixed at a place, or they are changing their position? See the diagram though. See the diagram though.
Changing
The
their
ubiquinone,
position.
yes, they are changing their position. That's why they are fixed complex like 1, 2, 3, 4, or they are mobile complex.
Mobile complex.
Mobile complex. So are you getting one concept, that Sir, first is ubiquinone can accept, write it down this MCQ. Ubiquinone can accept electron from both 1 and 3. Sorry, both 1 and 2. Write it down, please. And if you don't write, if you don't want to write, very ideal person if you are, then do this, that complex 1. Okay, just hold on, what happened? Okay, this is complex 1. Okay, complex 1 is, okay, complex 1 is donating electron to whom? U, Q, okay, and complex 2 is also donating electron to whom? U, Q, and finally what is happening, that the ubiquinone is donating their electron to whom? Please tell me to. They are
Complex
donating the
3.
electron to
Complex
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 3.
number 3.
3. So this is the basic concept, and this concept will help you in MCQ. Write it. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So write it. Write this thing. This is the basic thing. Here 3 concepts are there. That ubiquinone is mobile, and write it. Write a word mobile just beside your ubiquinone. Write this. This is a mobile. Okay, just hold on, something is, it's not okay. Clear everyone?
Yes.
স্যার স্যার মোবাইল কিউনিয়ন যে বলছেন স্যার,
Yes.
স্যার মোবাইল কিউনিয়নটা কি স্যার?
Mobile means who can move. Mobile means who can move. Static means who is fixed. Follow this now. Follow this one. Follow this one. Mobile means ubiquinone, like you are mobile. Suppose when you are walking, you are mobile. You can be present. Ubiquinone can be present here. 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 Here also you can find ubiquinone can be present here, can be here, can be here, can be here, because they are ultimately receiving electron from one end and then sending electron to another end. They can receive electron from 1. Sorry, they can receive electron from 1 and 2, but they will send electron every time. They will send electron from 2 from 2 to 3 and 1 to 3. So they will send their electron always to whom? Ubiquinone is sending electron in the first case, and in the second case, both. In both cases, they are sending electron to which complex? Please tell me.
Complex 3.
Complex 3 is the answer.
3.
Clear everyone? Now the next question is that the complex 1 is also called NADH dehydrogenase complex. Question is why? Because here, sir, in NADH dehydrogenase complex, we will actually use NADH2, and NADH2 will be converted into NAD. Thereby, NADH2 will lose 2 proton, okay, and 2 electron. The electron will be transferred in this way, and proton will be accumulated in the matrix for initial time. And as you know, that protons will be also moved from matrix to PMS. As I told in my last explanation, that the matrix, initially the protons will be accumulated in the matrix, and they will be transferred from matrix to PMS. Okay, and that is 4 in number with the help of complex 1. Please mute yourself if you are not using your microphone. Please mute yourself. Okay, thank you. So you have to understand, this is the transfer of your proton, okay, through this, and this is the transfer of your electron. Why the proton is transferred? Because when we are converting NADH2 into NAD, we are losing proton as well. That proton are initially accumulated in the matrix, but they have to definitely move. Please mute yourself if you are not using. Okay, so you have to understand that this proton has to be transferred from here to there. So now you tell me how many proton is transferred. Can you remember 4042 funda? Are you able to remember 4042 funda? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
So
sir.
through complex 1, how many protons will be transferred? 4.
4.
Through
Four.
complex 2, how many protons you are watching here?
0.
Zero. Yes, it is zero. Yes, it is zero. And through through complex 3, how many protons are transferred? Tell me, to.
4.
4. So 4. So this is 404. And in the complex 4, if you see the complex 4, how many protons are transferred from here to
Two.
there? Tell me, to. 2. So you are finding again, this is 4. So in NCERT, this question is already there. So anytime this question might be asked in the next year, that is 4042. 4042. That is 4042. Remember, 40 and 42. Okay, 4042. 0 is second complex. Okay, all right. And ubiquinone is receiving electron from complex 1 and complex 2, but ubiquinone is receiving electron from both of them, but ubiquinone is always sending electron to only one person, that is complex 3. Clear, everyone? Now I will tell you something which is very, 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 very important for MCQ purpose of you, and write it down. The thing is, okay, write it down. It's a very, very important thing. Complex 2 is most important for MCQ. First, write it down. Complex 2 is most important for MCQ. Complex 2 is most important for MCQ. Okay. Complex 2, just hold on. Okay. Complex 2 is most important for MCQ. What is the name of complex 1? I told so. Even it is written in NCERT. Can you tell me now? What is the name of complex 1? It is NAD.
NADH dehydrogenase.
It is NADH dehydrogenase complex, because you will now you will dehydrogenase NADH2. Now what you will do? You will dehydrogenase. You will take off. You will simply snatch hydrogen from the NADH2 to make it NAD plus. That's why it is NADH2 dehydrogenase complex. Anyways, complex 2 is most important, and this is called. Can you tell me what is its name?
Succinate dehydrogenase.
It is also called succinate dehydrogenase complex. Okay, no issues. But what in place of NADH2, here we will use FADH2. That is first important thing. This is first important thing. Here, instead of NADH2, we are using FADH2. That FADH2 of Krebs cycle. Okay. Second important thing, that this FADH2 is produced in which step of Krebs cycle? Actually, one of you have asked this question, so let me show you this. Okay, follow this. Those who haven't attended my last class, follow this. I am producing FADH2 where?
Succinate to fumarate.
Yes, during conversions of succinic acid to fumaric acid. Okay, we are producing FADH2. And what is the name of the enzyme? Please tell me, to.
Succinate dehydrogenase.
This is succinate dehydrogenase. Can you tell me the difference of succinate dehydrogenase from all Krebs cycle enzyme? Who can tell me? If you are able to tell me, then I will find, yes, you are quite familiar with MCQs. Can you tell me what is? Yes, you are correct. So that's why, let me draw this thing. Okay, actually no need to draw. Actually in NCERT already the diagram is given. Okay, follow this. Follow this. Follow complex 2. Forget about everything. Okay, forget about everything and look at the complex 2. Complex 2. What you are finding in complex 2? Tell me. What is there in complex 2? You tell me, what is there in complex 2? Sir, in the complex 2, we are finding the enzyme of the complex 2 is succinate dehydrogenase. Okay. And that is present. You know, the complex 2, rather, actually, the complex 2, actually, this is actually a little bit wrong diagram. What is the difference? If you follow with other complexes 1, 2, 3, 4, the drawing of complex 2 is different. Are you finding this now? What is difference of complex 2 drawing? Actual complex 2 is this one, this head one. This head one is actually complex 2. Don't get confused. This is not ATPase I am drawing. This is not ATPase. Don't get confused. It is not ATPase. ATPase, it is ATPase at last, even after complex 4. This is simply like you are finding a shape is different. I'm telling whatever. Just remember the direct MCQ. The direct MCQ is that all the Krebs cycle enzyme are situated in the matrix, but succinate dehydrogenase is such an enzyme which is situated in inner mitochondrial membrane. Inner mitochondrial membrane. And succinate dehydrogenase is also taking part in electron transporting chain. Look at my board. Succinate dehydrogenase is also part of complex 2 of electron transporting chain. So write the MCQ first. Write the MCQ first. It's very, very important. Okay, write down the MCQ. Okay, just hold on. Okay, write down this MCQ. The MCQ is that it's very, very important MCQ actually. Complex 2 is SDH complex, succinate dehydrogenase complex. It is also known as FADH2 dehydrogenase complex. Second question, complex 2 is situated in inner mitochondrial membrane. Sir, every complex is situated in inner mitochondrial membrane. What else is different? The difference is that complex 1, 2, 3 is spanning the membrane. Suppose this is the boundary of the membrane. Complex 1 is spanning from this to this. Complex 3 is this to this. Complex 4 is this to this. But complex 2, they are situated in the inner this. This is the actual diagram of complex 2 because this is SDH. And this red color thing, this SDH complex, is not only take part in ETC, but also takes part in Krebs cycle. So write this word also, that they also takes part in Krebs cycle. Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it is very, 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 very important. Okay. So complex 2, what is first MCQ? What is the name of the complex 2? Succinate dehydrogenase. Now the next question you tell me to, okay, one more question, one more neat question is waiting for you. And this is the question of your enzyme chapter. Who can tell me? The succinate dehydrogenase is a MCQ of enzyme chapter. Who
Competitive
can?
inhibition.
Absolutely correct answer. Only one example in NCERT is given from SDH, succinate dehydrogenase, and that is competitive inhibition. So write it down, competitive inhibition. So competitive inhibition. Now you tell me to competitive inhibition. Okay, so if you are telling competitive inhibition, that means SDH will be competitively inhibited. SDH will be inhibited. So someone will inhibit. Someone will inhibit. Okay, then first you tell me what is the job of SDH? What is the job of SDH? Converting which compound into which compound? Tell me, already you have told. Succinic acid
Fumaric
is
Fumaric
converted
acid.
into fumaric acid
acid.
by the help of succinate dehydrogenase. And during this conversion, FAD will be converted into FADH2.
FADH2.
FAD will be reduced, succinic acid will be oxidized, succinic acid will be oxidized to fumaric acid, and FAD will be reduced to FADH2. Now, with the help of this enzyme, which is called succinate dehydrogenase, and unfortunately or fortunately, this enzyme is not situated in the matrix. Rather, this enzyme is situated in the inner wall, inner surface of the inner mitochondrial membrane. And unfortunately, it also takes part in electron transporting chain. this SDH is part of both ETC and Krebs. This is MCQ. Now you tell me the next MCQ. If this is succinate dehydrogenase, and suppose this is the active site of succinate dehydrogenase, okay, this is the active site of the succinate dehydrogenase. There is a very popular incidence in my biology that this black colored things will mimic this blue colored thing, but the blue colored thing is not the real. This is the fake one. What will happen with this fake one? The fake one will be attached with the real red one, and ultimately what will happen? That the real black one will be unable to attach in its original place. Can you tell me which is red one? Now you tell me. Now, okay, one by one. First listen to my question carefully. Which one is red one? I am marking it 1. Number 2. Which is the blue one? Number 2. And what is number 3? This is black one. Tell me 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If you are able to tell me 1, 2, 3, then you can solve the MCQ of competitive inhibitions that I have already taught you. Tell me, what is 1?
Succinate dehydrogenase.
Yes, sir. This is 1. Absolutely correct answer. This is 1. What is 2?
Malonic acid.
2 is like, sir, yes, the fake one who will block this SDH. So the inhibitor of the SDH is 2. And it is your malonic acid, or this is malonate. This is 2. And who is number 3?
Succinate.
Yes, sir. This is succinic acid is number 3. Everyone is getting now why it is called competitive inhibitions. If you are not getting, I can give. I have already taught that concept detailed in a very interesting way. Suppose you have a girlfriend, okay, and your girlfriend is not, and any other girl is exactly looking like your girlfriend. So you might be confused with your girlfriend. Okay, so suppose the black one is your real girlfriend, and that should be attached with you. You are red, but you are finding you are confused with the blue one, and the blue one is taking that opportunity, and he is trying to get attached with you. So ultimately, what will happen? The real relationship will break down. Okay, so the real relationship is between the red and the black one. The real relationship is between the succinic acid and succinate dehydrogenase, because ultimately we are expecting the product is fumaric acid. If the real relationship stays in between this succinic acid and succinate dehydrogenase, then only you will be successful in getting fumaric acid and producing FADH2. But if you are unable to do so, the whole process will be blocked. So can you tell me the next question? Malonic acid is a ETC blocker. Is this statement is true or false? Malonic acid is not only Krebs cycle blocker, but also a ETC blocker. Is this statement true or false?
True.
True. Yes, absolutely, sir. This malonic acid is not only blocking, it is blocking SDH. And SDH is a part of both ETC and Krebs cycle. So definitely with the help of malonic acid, we are actually blocking both electron transporting chain and Krebs cycle, K for Krebs cycles. So again, I am telling you, please take the screenshot of this slide, because this is $1 million important slide. Okay, yes, tell me.
Sir, please write down the 1, 2, 3, then I will take screenshot, it will be better.
I have marked though. 1 I have marked in SDH, 2 I have marked though in malonate, 3 I have marked though in SA.
It is pixelized in my PC.
Okay. So okay, clear everyone? Okay, I am saving this for you. Okay, chalo. I have saved that in my device. I will send that in the notice group. Don't worry. Okay. In the notice group, I will send that after the class. Okay. Anyways, okay, this is the portion that you have to remember. Now I am telling you why the people dies after taking potassium cyanide. Okay. This is another,
Sir.
the next question. Okay, tell me. Yes.
So this malonic acid will be present in the matrix.
Malonic acid can be present anywhere. If you are taking a malonic acid tablet, malonate tablet, that may be present anywhere. If malonate is come nearby SDH, this thing will happen. That's my statement. Malonic acid is something, it is not, you cannot tell there is something procedure is going on inside the matrix which will produce a lot of malonic acid. You cannot tell that. My purpose of telling it that if anywhere my body is producing malonic acid or I am taking malonic acid, then it will happen. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Do you think malonic acid is a normal biochemical product of Krebs cycle? Do you think malonic acid is a normal biochemical product of Krebs cycle or any cycle like glycolysis of any respiratory cycle? Yes or no? Tell me now.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Malonic acid is normal.
No,
Malonic
sir.
acid. How you tell me that reaction to where you are producing malonic acid? There are only 3 steps you can produce malonic acid. Number 1, in respiration especially. Number 1, glycolysis. Number 2, Krebs cycle. Number 3, etc. Where you are producing malonic acid? Nowhere you are producing malonic acid. So definitely malonic acid is an external substance, or malonic acid can be produced as a byproduct of any different reactions of our body. Okay, but if it comes to the place of SDH, it will happen. That's something I want to tell. Okay, are you getting my point, Ananya? Are you happy with my
Yes, sir.
explanation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So the next thing that you have to remember right now is that malonic and malonate acid. I have explained in details. The next thing that we have to do. Okay, the question was why after taking potassium cyanide the people die. Okay, write down. This is potassium cyanide. Okay.
So because cyanides are easily attached with the hemoglobin without oxygen.
No,
before
sir, it's
oxygen.
blocked Krebs cycle.
Yes, that's something I want to tell. You know, there is another change. Okay, as you are telling this thing, the hemoglobin is not the issue. Yes, you are true that they might be attached to the hemoglobin as well, but that's not the true. Let me tell him first. Even in the hemoglobin, when the hemoglobin, suppose Fe2 plus of the hemoglobin are oxidized to Fe3 plus. Can you tell me this condition first? You tell me though. This is an open question for everyone. Please tell me, the Fe2 plus is converted into Fe3 plus of hemoglobin. This is a disease. Can you tell me the name of the disease? Please tell me now. I have already told that I have already told during my breathing and respiration explanation. In that module, I have already told. This is called mate hemoglobin.
Hemoglobin.
Yes, mate hemoglobin. And can you tell me how is it possible to convert my Fe2 plus of my hemoglobin into Fe3 plus if you add something which is oxidizing or reducing agent? Tell me though.
Oxidizing agent.
Oxidizing agent. And can you tell me oxidizing agent which you can expect you are taking accidentally?
HNO3.
HNO3. How you can take HNO3? How you can take HNO3? Through water. Suppose in the water HNO3 is mixed. Now how in the water HNO3 mixed?
Dilute.
Suppose you are not diluted. If you are taking a pond water, okay, or suppose your pond in your home, the pond water is purified and then you are getting your drinking water. Now the question is, how in the pond water HNO3 is there?
So
Because in
nitrogen,
that
rain, acid rain.
Absolutely correct answer. But first you have to tell this is something called nitrogen dioxide pollution. This is something called nitrogen dioxide pollutions. Okay, so this is a question. So think about that even when there is a pollution of nitrogen dioxide and your Fe2 plus of hemoglobin is converted into Fe3 plus, and ultimately you are getting this disease which is called mate hemoglobinemia. I mean, all the hemoglobin structure is changed. Then also you will not die. Your oxygen content in the blood, will be down, and that's why your whole body will go blue, and that is called blue baby syndrome or cyanosis. Okay, that is called blue baby syndrome or cyanosis. But actually, what will happen that during mate hemoglobin formation, your HHB formation will be also high, which is called reduced hemoglobin, and then that HHB, I mean reduced hemoglobin. Okay, so if you in your body mate hemoglobin is high and HHB that is reduced hemoglobin. These are high, then oxygen content will be low. You will have cyanosis and you will have some breathing difficulty. You will not die. But if you take potassium cyanide, you know, if within 30 seconds, within 30, 50 seconds, you will die. You will not get time. Okay, you will
Sir.
not get time to write the taste of potassium cyanide.
Yes, I think that was is that the man has tasted the potassium cyanide and write down that is, and it is the এটা মানে কি বলা যায় এখনো জানাই
Okay,
নাকি
okay,
ওটা সামান না সুইট
Okay. Anyways, he's a very funny person. Okay, so listen to it. Listen to my explanation carefully. Listen to my explanation carefully. That what would happen with potassium cyanide? That potassium cyanide. It is tell me the potassium cyanide. This is C triple bond N minus. That means it is a strong oxidizing agent or reducing agent. First, you tell me.
oxidizing region.
It is reached with electrons, so they will try to donate electron.
Oh,
So they are definitely reducing. They're strong reducing agent. And if they're strong reducing agent, you know, I will just explain after a little bit time that this is suppose complex 1, complex 2, sorry, not complex 2 is not in this way. So like complex 1, complex 2, complex 3 and complex 4. You know, in complex 1 there is, I told you there is iron sulfur complex. Are you able to remember? I told there that there is iron sulfur complex. Even in the complex 3 also there is some iron also. So what would happen if you are and there again you will have Fe2 plus. When they are accepting electron, they will be converted into initially they are Fe3 plus, extremely sorry. When they will accept electron, they will be converted into Fe2 plus. When they will donate electron to the next one, they will be again back into its original state. So ultimately what is happening, this is cyclical change, Fe3 plus to 2 plus, 2 plus to 3 plus, taking electron, donating electron. But if you are continuously supplying, I mean, if you have supplied Cn minus, all the Fe3 plus have permanently reduced into Fe2 plus. So the flow of electron will be stopped. H plus removal, I mean H plus movement will be stopped. Electron transporting chain will be stopped. Okay, and oxygen to water conversion will be stopped. ATP generation will be stopped. NADH utilization will be FADH utilization will be stopped. Krebs cycles needs new NAD plus. You know that already. In 3 plus NAD plus, 1 plus FAD plus, they will not get that supply of a new young NAD plus and FAD plus because you don't have the mechanism to revive the NAD plus and FAD plus, FADH2 plus. Are you getting my point? So this whole thing will happen like a chain reactions, but the main reason is that if you are supplying Cn minus, it will reduce the Fe3 plus into Fe2 plus permanently. Okay. And even if you have lot of oxygen in your expiratory passage, suppose this is your lungs, you are successfully taking a lot of oxygen with the help of these lungs in your alveoli. Lot of oxygen are there. The blood is carrying a lot of oxygen. Your hemoglobin even carrying a lot of oxygen. But when you are ultimately carrying this oxygen for a cell, that cell, even the diffusion, even with the help of diffusion, oxygen has successfully entered inside the cell. Even and it is also successful in entering inside the mitochondria, but it is failed in utilization of that oxygen inside electron transport chain. So the defect is directly here. Your cell is unable to use the oxygen in mitochondria with the help of electron transporting chain. You don't have any defect here. You don't have any defect here. Suppose a piece of coin is stuck into the trachea. Suppose a piece of coin is stuck into the trachea, even if you will get a little bit time to 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But if you are taking potassium cyanide, when the potassium cyanide will be mixed, it will directly enter into the GI tract. It will be mixed into the blood, and it will be the small potassium cyanide will be circulated in the all cell of the body. You think in this way now. Suppose that potassium cyanide has entered in the mitochondria of the brain, has entered in the mitochondria of your heart. What will happen? Your mitochondria, your heart will be unable to unable to do etc. Your brain will be unable to do etc. Bas, that's all. ECG line will be straight.
Sir,
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, you tell me. Yes.
স্যার আমি শুনেছি যে স্যার আপেলে বীজ গেলে নাকি স্যার মারা যায় নাকি এটা হিউজ অ্যামাউন্টে গেলে
Okay, I don't have that idea. There may be any toxic substances in that seed. Yeah, he is correct. There are a lot of seeds that you will find toxin in the seeds. Okay, if you take, there are a lot of cardiotoxic seeds. If you take that seeds, your heart will stop working. Okay, but I don't know especially what is present in apple. I know apple is good one, but I don't have any idea. Yeah, I have taken a lot of seeds of apple many times. That's why I haven't read it anywhere.
not in the number of 1 or 2, about 30 to 35.
Okay. Don't do this experiment at home. Okay. Anyways, okay, the next thing is so we have already discussed all the MCQs. Okay, all the probable MCQs that I've asked in previous year NEET exam. Just follow this one. Are you able to appreciate that this one here what is this complex? Please tell me though. What is this complex? Please tell me. Tell me now, what is this complex? It is written though. What is this complex?
Complex 4.
Yes, it is complex 4. My question is that in the complex 4, this is the last complex. How many proton will be removed with complex 4? It is 2. Sir, we already know. Now you tell me who is carrying electron from complex 3 to complex 4? You tell me. Who is carrying electron from complex 3 to complex 4? You tell me though.
Cytochrome C.
C, yes, cytochrome C. And can you tell me what is present in cytochrome C? The answer is iron. Okay, but what is present in cytochrome A and A3? Tell me though, what is present in cytochrome A and A3? Copper. So cytochrome A and A3 will transfer their electron to copper. So remember, in the complex 4 you have copper, but in cytochrome C you have only iron. So this is another MCQ. Write it down directly. Copper is present in complex 4. Write it down. Copper is present in complex 4, and complex 4 is called cytochrome C oxidase, because complex 4 will take electron from the cytochrome C. That's why they are oxidizing the cytochrome C, and they are known as complex 4. So if you draw the rough diagram of this whole story, what we'll get, let me write this and then we'll finish this chapter because everything is almost completed. Okay, just follow this thing. This is complex 1. You tell me, this is complex 1. Okay, suppose this is my electron transport, this is my outer mitochondrial membrane. Okay, sir. Okay, this is outer mitochondrial membrane. This is the thickness of the outer mitochondrial membrane. I have drawn very small, with a small thickness. Suppose this is the inner mitochondrial membrane, like this. Okay, like this. Okay. Inner mitochondrial membrane should have a proper thickness. Yes, please tell me though. Inner mitochondrial membrane should have proper thickness. Okay. Now, you know, in the inner mitochondrial membrane, this is the outer mitochondrial membrane. This is OM. This is the inner mitochondrial membrane. This is the IM. You know, in the inner mitochondrial membrane, in the inner side, inner mitochondrial membrane, in the inner side, what you will have, this one. Are you getting me? Okay. And also along with that, you will have complexes like complex Tell me. 1, like 2, like 3, and 4. So this is complex 1. This is complex 2, which is inside, just inside the mitochondrial membrane, not through and through membrane. Complex 3 is through and through membrane. Complex 4 is like this. Are you getting me? Tell me to.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Now you
sir.
tell me. Now you tell me the flow of electron. Suppose this is complex 1. Suppose complex 2. Complex 1 will receive electron from whom? Tell me. From which compound of matrix? Tell me. We are summarizing the whole concept. Complex 1 will receive electron.
NADH2.
NADH2. Absolutely correct. Complex 2 will receive electron from whom? Tell me to.
FADH2.
FADH2. Now you tell me they are gaining electron from NADH2 and FADH2 respectively. Now you tell me this electron of complex 1 and complex 2 will go to whom? Ultimately, complex 3.
3.
With the help of whom? Ubiquinone.
Ubiquinone.
And this is also ubiquinone. Ubiquinone is someone who is present, who is mobile. He can move anywhere in the membrane. So this is also ubiquinone. So this is like here I am drawing only the Watt diagram. The Watt diagram is telling this is NADH2 will receive electron. NADH2 will send electron to complex 1. FADH2 will send electron to complex 2. And ultimately complex 1 will send its electron with the help of ubiquinone. Okay. And this is another ubiquinone. Complex 2 will also send their electron to ubiquinone. And ultimately this ubiquinone will send their electron to complex 3. Okay. And you tell me complex 3 will send their electron to someone which is definitely complex 4. So only one is left. So definitely 3 will leave this electron here to complex 4. You just tell me who is here waiting? Who is here waiting to transfer your electron?
Cytochrome C.
Cytochrome C. Cytochrome C. As a last question, you tell me who are mobile carrier? This ubiquinone and cytochrome C. So one mobile carrier is present in between 1, 2, and 3, and one mobile carrier is present between 3 and 4. Are you getting my concept?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And finally, when all the electrons are transferred to when all the electrons are transferred to complex 4, because this is the end, you know what would happen, that in the complex 4, you know, you are having the electron. Okay. You will definitely have proton. How you will have proton? Because that proton has already entered through this channel of F0 and F1, and ultimately they will reach here. And at the level of the complex 4, you know, here what will happen? Electron, the proton which has come through your ATP synthase. So that proton, this electron, and you know already oxygen is available here, and ultimately above the complex 4 there will be formations of water molecule. Clear everyone? Here I'm not discussing the formation of ATP molecule because I have already discussed how the ATP molecule is formed. I have already discussed how the ATP molecule is formed with the help of complex 5 or something, the tennis racket wala thing. Okay, clear everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the whole story is told already in the class. So the next thing that you have to remember, and where is, can you tell me how many cytochromes are there? How many cytochromes are there? Cytochrome is a type of one group of electron carrier. Please remember, cytochrome are mainly B, C, A, A3. Please remember this thing. Cytochromes are 5 in electron transporting chain. Cytochrome B, cytochrome C1, cytochrome C, cytochrome A, and cytochrome A3. Okay, please write it this. Please write this. How many cytochromes are there? Please write this. How many cytochromes are there? Cytochrome B, C1, cytochrome C, and cytochrome A and A3. B and C1 is situated in complex 2. C is a mobile cytochrome, and A and A3 is situated in complex 4. Okay, sorry, B and C is situated in complex 3. So B, cytochrome B and C1 is situated in complex 3. C is mobile carrier. Okay. And A and A3 is complex 4. These are the story of different type of cytochromes. And where there is a need of copper, here you have to remember, in anywhere you need the help of iron molecule. Okay, whenever you are uttering the word cytochrome, please remember there is iron. In cytochrome, you have already iron. So here is all iron, here is iron in it, here is iron in it, even here is also iron in it. But along with that, you have to remember in complex 4, you will transfer the oxygen to copper. This is 1 year this question was came. You have to remember, because you know there is a chapter on mineral nutrition. In mineral nutrition, this is the importance of copper, that it will help in formations of complex 4 of ETC. Okay, cupric will be converted into cupras. Sorry, after getting the electron, after getting the electron, cupric will have, yes, correct. Cupric will be getting converted into cupras. Absolutely correct. Okay, clear everyone? Yes or no? Electron transporting chain is explained in a good way. Everything, every single bit of story is explained. Okay, what is F1, what is F0, what is ubiquinone, what is ubiquinol, what is ATP, what is ADP, what is complex 1, 2, 3, 4, what is 5, which one are mobile, which one static, every single bit of MCQs are discussed. Okay. Now the next thing is that in the last class I have already discussed RQ. If you are able to remember, that volume of CO2 divided by volume of CO2 evolved divided by volume of O2 consumed. Okay, and you have to remember, I have already explained, for glucose it is 1, for mixed diet it is 0.7, for lipid protein it is less than 1 obviously. But in the last year this MCQ was in your NEET exam 2020, that this is your tryptamine. Can you tell me what is sorry, not tryptamine, sorry, this is tripalmitin. Extremely sorry. Tripalmitin means it's a palmitic acid. I mean, it's a fatty acid. So can you tell me what is the RQ value of a fatty acid, more than 1 or less than 1? Can you tell me? And even so remember, be it your fat or be it your fatty acid, it is always less than 1. But if the word changes into organic acid, if anyone is asking, can you tell me the RQ of a organic acid?
Greater than 1.
Greater than 1. That I have already discussed. If it is a malic acid, if it is a oxaloacetic acid, please remember it is greater than 1. Okay. Okay. If it is a malic acid, if it is an oxaloacetic acid, obviously it is greater than 1. You have to remember. If it is a fat, if it is a protein, obviously it is less than 1. Okay. So few times this question are asked, actually malic acid, organic acid, oxaloacetic acid, these are more than 1. And in the last year this question was there in your NEET exam, that palmitic acid will produce the RQ value of more than 1 or less than 1. This is less than 1. So that's why, you know, I used to teach with NCERT surgery, because it will help you a lot. Okay. And one more time, the question was, what is the RQ value of the protein? Can you tell me? It's more than fat. It's more than fat, but less than 1, 9.9. So the take home message is that carbohydrate, protein, lipid, along lipid, you can also say fatty acid, be it lipid or fatty acid, whatever. Okay, or it is always 0.7. If it is protein, it's 0.9. If it's carbohydrate, it's 0.1. If it is organic acid, then it is more than 1. Please write this down. Please write it down. These are like your concept map. Few of you are asking me, sir, how to make a short note or concept map. This is concept map. You have to write this in this way. Okay. And one more concept today I will discuss, and then the class will finish. Okay. Okay. The next concept is, okay. So, okay. All right. Just hold on. Okay. So the last concept that you have to understand, that this is actually important. Many time I found this question, that how, because in my first class I told it is carbohydrate which can be used as a substance for respiration. I mean, today if it is glucose, you can start your respiration process through glycolysis and this and this and this. But the question is that if it is fat, if it is carbohydrate, if it is fat and protein, how the things will go on? Because you are taking meat, you are taking chicken. That chicken, how the chicken will take part in your respiration process? If you are taking the biryanis, if it is how the oil is taking part in your respiration process. Okay, so that is something we have to know. If it is a protein, the protein will break down into amino acid. Okay, you know, there is already in your NCERT there is already 21 is mentioned, though in the recent update there is 22 actually, but as your NCERT is still saying 21, so you have to mention 21. So 21 amino acid, when that will be broken down, when the proteins will be broken down, you will get 21 amino acid, and those amino acid will be converted into pyruvic acid. Those amino acid will be converted into pyruvic acid. So just remember this thing. Amino acid, if you are taking, that will be converted into pyruvic acid, and you know, if you are once you are getting pyruvic acid, what will happen? That pyruvic acid will go and convert into acetyl CoA, and acetyl CoA will take part into Krebs cycle. And if you are able to perform Krebs cycle, you are generating ATP, because our purpose is to generate ATP. We are generating ATP with the help of protein. Clear, everyone? That's why, you know, one beautiful thing is that there is something is called SDA value. Who knows this? What is SDA values? I'm telling you with practical experience, because this is a question. SDA value is called specific dynamic action. Write it down. This is called specific dynamic action. What is specific dynamic action? Okay, don't get confused with this. Okay, again, I'm just reminding you, this is your fat. The 1 gram fat will generate maximum energy, that is 9.3 kilocalorie. That's true. Where 1 gram protein or carbohydrate, they will simply generate 4 kilocalorie energy. But I am telling right now something different. Now I am telling, if I am taking protein, suppose I am a person, I am taking protein, the person 2 is taking carbohydrate, the person 3 is taking a heavy meal of lipid. I am taking heavy meal of protein, the person 2 is taking heavy meal of lipid, the person 3 is taking heavy meal of person 3 is taking heavy meal of carbohydrate. Question is that whose body will produce heat first? This is protein. Protein can be used in respiration first. Okay, because the protein will be broken down into amino acids, and the amino acid will directly go into the pyruvic acid. So you can bypass the whole glycolysis. You are directly getting the end product of glycolysis. Okay, that's why you have to remember that. That's why if the SDA value is maximum for protein, write it down. The SDA value is maximum for protein. The SDA value is maximum from protein, but don't get confused with these informations that who can produce maximum energy. It is always fat. It is always fat. Fat can produce maximum energy. Per gram of fat can produce 9.3 kilocalories. Those two are different concept. SDA is how fast it is, and the calorific value is how much. Okay. So this is how the protein is used. Now you tell me how the fat is used. The fat is converted into fatty acids and glycerol. The fat is converted into fatty acids and glycerol. The glycerol will be a part of DHAP. Are you able to remember DHAP? Are you able to remember the DHAP of glycolysis? Yes, this is the DHAP of glycolysis. This is glycolysis. So follow this now. This is actually glycolysis. So glycerol will be, because this is DHAP means dihydroxyacetone phosphate. If you oxidize the alcohol of the glycerol, what you will get? If you are able to convert the alcohol group, OH group of the glycerol into ketone, you are actually forming acetone. So, and that's why it's called dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Okay, and that I have already discussed in details in my biomolecule chapter, that from how from the glycerol you can get acetone, dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Next, so if you are digesting fat, it will be converted into glycerol and fatty acid. Glycerol will take part into glycolysis, but fatty acid will take part directly to form acetyl CoA. Please remember, and this is called beta oxidation of fat, by the help of beta oxidation of fatty acid. This mechanism is called beta oxidation of fatty acid. It is not, beta oxidation is a detailed step. It is not in your syllabus, but you have to at least remember that fatty acid can be oxidized in 3 ways. One is alpha oxidation, second is beta oxidation, another is omega oxidation. For your syllabus, only beta oxidation you need to remember, because I'm not teaching you right now the alpha oxidations and the omega oxidation of the fatty acid, but fatty acid can be converted into the acetyl CoA in 3 ways. You have to remember in your syllabus, as per your syllabus, you have to remember beta oxidation of fatty acid can produce fatty acid into acetyl CoA, and that acetyl CoA will directly go into the Krebs cycle and will produce ATP. Okay, and this is how we are generating our ATP, by using protein, carbohydrate, and lipids. And now, right now, we have to think about one concept. The concept is that all the reactions, I know I have already explained in my class, this was the reaction number 1, which is unidirectional. This was the reaction number 10, which was unidirectional. Sorry, not this one. This is the reaction number 10, which is unidirectional. And there was another reaction number 3, which was unidirectional. But in our body, there are some mechanism which can even make them bidirectional. But the MCQ is that in this whole step of respiration, can you tell me one permanent irreversible reaction? This one, that is conversion of pyruvic acid to acetyl CoA. This step is always, pyruvic acid can only produce acetyl CoA, but acetyl CoA cannot produce pyruvic acid. This is a permanent unidirectional reaction without any failure, without any exception, right? Without any exception. No pathway is there in our body where acetyl CoA can go back to pyruvic acid. Acetyl CoA cannot go back to pyruvic acid. Now you tell me my question. I am telling you that I am directly giving you the question. Okay, the question is, all of the following things are neoglucogenetic. I think you know now what is neoglucogenetic. The question, actually, the age-old question is coming in this way. This is a previous year question actually. The question are followings are neoglucogenic. They can produce new glucose. All of the following are neoglucogenic. They can produce new glucose, except option A, glycerol, option B, amino acid, option C, pyruvic acid, option D, fatty acid. What is answer? To answer this question, you have to think this diagram. Tell me, if I use glycerol, can I go back to carbohydrate? If I using glycerol, I can go back to carbohydrate. Yes, there is a way in my body. If I am using amino acid, I am producing pyruvic acid, and even I can go back to this carbohydrate. Okay, now you tell me the next option, pyruvic acid. If you are using directly pyruvic acid, you can even go back to your this. But if you are using fatty acid, you are directly producing acetyl-CoA, and I have mentioned that without any exception, there is no reaction which can produce acetyl-CoA into pyruvic acid. Write it down. That's why if I use, so you cannot expect glucogenesis. I mean, you cannot expect glucose formation from fatty acid and acetyl-CoA. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Write this down. I cannot expect formation of glucose from fatty acid and acetyl-CoA, because acetyl-CoA to pyruvic acid conversion is impossible in human body. Acetyl-CoA to pyruvic acid conversion, I mean reverse link reaction. Reverse link reaction is impossible in our body. Clear, everyone? Clear, everyone? And that's why the answer will be, the answer of that MCQ will be acetyl-CoA or fatty acid. Most of the time the options are fatty acid, and fatty acid is the answer. Anyways, the last thing that I will explain right now, the small thing actually, not a big thing actually, but still you have to understand this one. What is the total reaction of respiration? This is the overall reaction of overall reactions of better to say from pyruvic acid to end. I mean Krebs cycles. This is the whole summary of the Krebs cycle. This is the whole summary of the Krebs cycle. Is how much NAD we are using? Please tell me, though, in the Krebs cycle, how much NAD you are using? Tell me, though. Tell me in one cycle. Tell me, because you are using only one pyruvic acid. With one pyruvic acid, you need 3 NAD directly in Krebs cycle, 1 NAD in link reactions, 1 FAD directly in link reactions, 2 molecule of water that is written in the cycle, but no, and don't have any MCQ value. That's why I'm not mentioning. So, and you also need ADP and phosphate, because you are going to form ATP with the help of, by using this NADH2 FADH2, but combining the ETC process. If you combine the electron transporting chain along with Krebs cycle, then you can write in this way that yes, ADP and PI will be bound, and will get ATP. Okay. And how many CO2 you will get in Krebs cycle? You tell me, though, sir. 3. 3 means when you are using 1 pyruvic acid, but you will use 2 pyruvic acid, 2 acetyl-CoA. So obviously you will get 6 carbon dioxide. And now you tell me one thing. Suppose this is the, okay, tell me this one. Tell me this one. Can you, okay, tell me this one. To convert pyruvic acid into acetyl-CoA, how many ATP we will generate? Tell me. Tell me how many NADH2 we will generate? Sir, 1 NADH2. How many CO2 will generate? Sir, 1 CO2. Okay. And here you tell me how many CO2 you are generating? Sir, 1, 2. Okay. So total how many CO2s we are generating? Sir, this is 2. This is 2 because 2 times this cycle will go on, 4. And here it is again 2 because 2 times this will go on. So total 6 CO2. How many NADH2 will get, sir? Sir, here 2 into NADH2, 2 NADH2. And here you already know that 3 into 2 NADH2, that means 6 NADH2. So here it is 6 NADH2, here it is 2 NADH2, 8 NADH2, and another one was obviously in the glycolysis, if you are able to remember. Okay. And one more thing that I want to mention here. Here is one step that you have to remember, where instead of ATP, GTP is produced. Remember this thing, that when you are actually producing, here is actually one intervening step. Okay, that is actually that I have actually given you here. Follow this one. This one. when you are converting succinyl CoA, when you are actually converting, remember this succinyl CoA to succinic acid, initially you are actually getting GDP to GTP, and then GTP will be converted again back to GDP, liberating energy, and that energy will be trapped into ADP to form ATP. And here you are getting direct ATP during this transformation of during this reaction. That's why it is called, tell me the substrate level phosphorylation or oxidative phosphorylation. This is called
Substrate level.
Substrate level.
this is called substrate level phosphorylations. Okay, so everything is clear right now, and this is all about the session of every single MCQ of your NCERT book, of your any MCQ book I have covered. You just go one to visit. And can you tell me why it is called amphibolic pathway? Okay, that is something I have missed. Can you tell me why respiration is called amphibolic pathway? Can you tell me why it is called amphibolic pathway? Can you tell me why it is called? Tell me.
Sir, because the intermediates of Krebs cycle can be used for the synthesis of other compounds.
Okay, can you give me some example?
Sir, যেমন অ্যাসিটাইল কোএনজাইম এ থেকে আমরা টার্টিন স্টার্টিনয়েডস এগুলো পাই।
Tell me the best one. Yes, it's correct. Acetyl CoA পাওয়া যায়।
গ্লুটামিক অ্যাসিড থেকে অ্যামাইনো অ্যাসিডস।
Absolutely correct. Alpha ketoglutarate acid can produce so many amino acid. Correct. But you have missed the best one. The best one is succinyl CoA. The succinyl CoA can produce. Have you ever heard about this one? Succinyl CoA, when it is attached with the glycine, they will produce heme. Heme of 2. Heme is present in hemoglobin. Heme is also present in chlorophyll. So write it down. You will feel that when you will be solving MCQ, you will feel that yes, that heme sir told in the class that yes, it is succinyl CoA. It can be converted into heme when it is added with glycine, and that heme is a part of hemoglobin and in our body and chlorophyll in plant body. So now you tell me, your respiration was catabolic when you are digesting, when you are breaking down the product and you are combusting the carbohydrate, but at the same time, that's why it was called catabolic reactions. But here the intermediates of the Krebs cycle you are using to build a new compound, that is chlorophyll and hemoglobin. So my respiration process is not only catabolic, that means only the breaking down process into carbon dioxide and water, but also it can generate a new product like hemoglobin and chlorophyll as well from intermediates like succinyl CoA. And years after years, this question has been asked. What is the importance of succinyl CoA? To generate hemoglobin and chlorophyll, the heme of the hemoglobin and chlorophyll is a part of that. And also you can also remember alpha ketoglutarate acid. It will produce something called glutamine amino acids. Okay, from alpha ketoglutarate acid. That's why it is again anabolic, because if you produce glutamine, if you produce chlorophyll and hemoglobin in your body, your dry weight will increase, and that is called anabolic pathway. Clear everyone? Clear everyone? So if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll leave the session. Ananya, Akash, Ankush, Devashmita, Mo, Nilanjan, Sridhatri, Shreya, Soheli, Shubhadeep, Sridev, Shojanno, Tarin, Gayatri, Shumaya. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I will leave the session.
Sir, STA ভ্যালুটা প্রোটিনের পর কার বেশি?
Actually, protein is most important. Actually, it's few times it's actually lipid, few penitals, but protein, you just remember protein is maximum. You just remember protein is maximum. The order is not specific. Okay.
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে।
You just remember for MCQ purpose of view, only it is important that protein is max. For protein, SD is maximum. For calorific value, lipid is maximum. For RQ value, organic acid is maximum. Okay. These all are interrelated questions. Now you tell me. Just I want to ask everyone, if you have already read this chapter, I know. So after studying this chapter from me, are you feeling better or more confident or more integrated way how these are important in MCQ and in your actual biology? Are you feeling interested right now? Because most of the students, they are not getting interest in respiration and photosynthesis. Sir, all our reactions, I am unable to mug up those reactions. You need not to mug up all the reactions. You need, you only need to know which are the important steps of MCQ. And MCQs are set from in that area which has already importance in your practical biology. Okay. Anyways, so I am leaving these sessions. Okay. So bye bye. Take care. Lot of love, lot of blessings.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Welcome.